Welcome to the channel. I'm Julio Cesar. This is episode 1. So what are you going to find on this channel? You're going to find discussions about nature, travel stories, sharing experiences, philosophy, critical thinking. All that is going to be done with my sense of humor, archaeology. What you're not going to find is politics, sports, brain rot, distractions, anything that puts you in this dichotomy that society so much wants us to be stuck in. So today I wanted to talk about nature, being that I'm known for that. I'm known for, out of all my friends and peer group, I'm known as the guy who loves going to national parks, traveling to anything nature based, whether it's small local parks, just going to the ocean, driving as far as I can, or catching a plane to just be in nature. So I think that the importance of this topic of nature is that, from my opinion, I don't believe that I speak with facts, truth. Everything I say is my opinion, as is everybody in this world. I just think that too many people are caught up thinking, well, I know, or I technically know, or I was told this, or somebody told me that, so I'm telling you that, and there's nothing else to know about it. That mindset, I think, keeps us stuck in this 9 to 5, just working for the man and working for the day, as opposed to waking up and appreciating life, skipping the cup of coffee, skipping the brain rot, skipping the sports, skipping the night at the bar. Instead, planning towards a 2-3 day weekend backcountry camping. That's what I'm talking about. So in my opinion, just my opinion, everything I speak on is my opinion. I'm humble enough to accept that. Not the case for many other people, regardless of age. So I think, in my opinion, an appreciation for nature is directly correlated with your appreciation of life. An appreciation of nature is directly correlated with your appreciation of life. I want to emphasize that. If you take close attention and pay attention to something like nephews, if you have kids, nephews, anything that you could think of but youth, right? Children, which I interpret to be angels fresh in this world. We've got to give children and anybody under the age of 10, the benefit of the doubt and welcome them with open arms to this world. So I feel that when you're in nature, everything from, I hope you guys can make out the sounds of the birds, and hopefully you're lucky to hear a sea lion. Whereas people got roosters and farms and stuff, I'm in the city. I'm here in Los Angeles, Alta California, in the harbor area to be specific, and we don't got roosters and chickens. To be fair, a couple of the raza do, and that's what's up. I really appreciate that, but I live in an apartment and can't have really chickens and roosters. But I sleep every day with my window open, and I'm fortunate enough to hear the sea lions barking in the morning, sometimes at night, sometimes when they feel like it, and I can hear that high definition through my window, and it just brings me back full circle every time, how thankful I am to be here, how much I perceive this life to be a gift. I look at this as if we've been given forward. Life itself is a gift, so we've been given forward a gift. I want credit. Keep in mind, I'm not religious. I was raised Catholic, then I went to atheism, and I'm recovering from both of those. There's no doubt in my mind, through my experiences, that there are goddesses, gods that have sent us here, that have put us here. Who they are, what they are, where, all these other questions, that's just speculation and philosophy, and I don't mind getting into that. But what I feel like with my experience and what I've gone through is that we've been sent here with a purpose. We've been sent here with free will as well as destiny. You can take either or, but those few who can line up both of those, when you can line up your free will and your destiny, I think that vibration is something special. And I think at that point, that's when we show our gratitude towards the goddesses for this opportunity, for the good credit, for being given this life on good credit before I even knew I'd be able to pay it back. So yeah, with those conditions and with that free will and destiny comes this garden that is nature, the God's garden. in the garden there are animals. There are beautiful, majestic animals. Everything from a bird to dogs to the whale, even the fruit fly, even the cockroach. A cockroach has the perfect destiny. It is letting you know that you are not living your best life. You're unclean, and your conditions, your living conditions maybe should be better in order to avoid having, a cockroach infestation. So if anything, that cockroach is really giving you a heads up that this isn't the way you want to be going about. A dog can be extremely valuable in saving your life when you're sleeping. That dog could be the one alarm that separates those seconds between maybe an intruder or someone who wishes you harm, or is just maybe on a drug binge and looking to come up on the television. Who knows? But the point being is that the destiny of these animals, the destiny of humans and nature, the symbiotic relationship all of us have in this experience, a dog can alert you of that, give you enough time to prepare yourself, prepare a defense, get your family together for a defense, prevent that scenario from happening. Again, to what the cockroach said, I was fortunate enough earlier to see a monarch butterfly, and I'm blessed every day I see them here in San Pedro. That's where I live. There's monarch butterflies that are just roaming about the gardens in front of my apartment, and my family is from Michoacan, Mexico, and I've been blessed to visit the sanctuaries up in Michoacan, which happen to be the nesting site of all the monarch butterflies. Not all, I believe there's specific monarch butterflies, and then those that migrate all the way up to Canada, from Michoacan all the way up to Canada, having offspring and going through their journey of life in between, and everything that comes with that, and the magic that comes with that. Don't ever try to just say a monarch butterfly, that's it. Go learn about that in a book. I think for the rest of my life I'm gonna be fascinated with that whole process on how such a small caterpillar can go through that process, become a butterfly, have pre-wired conditions to migrate to specific distances that blow our minds to this day, regardless of the deforestation and whatever you feel like about climate and conditions and overpopulation and all that. I think that starts borderline in politics. But let's stick to what we know. We know that the monarch butterflies exist. We know their behaviors, we know their patterns, we know how beautiful they are, we know how special they are, and they definitely are that for my people in Mexico, and particularly in Michoacan. So I'm lucky to see monarchs. I seen one earlier. I'm lucky to hear mockingbirds daily, kestrel falcons, red-tailed hawks. Been lucky a few times to see a peregrine falcon. There's one up here on the cliffs lately. I'm hoping to get some shots of that. Seen one on the bridge once, and you might get lucky depending on your lifestyle and where you guys are. You might be watching this in Alaska or I don't know, Siberia, China. I don't know what type of falcons are over there. I'd love to hear about it. Please, leave that in some great detail in the comment section about what type of wildlife you're coming across. But I do feel like the best teachers in this life can be these animals. They can be nature. A tree can be your greatest teacher. I believe that might be biomimicry is what they try to put that under. Learning from a tree how it survives the seasons, the strength in its roots, the way it can withstand the seasons, high winds, tsunamis, of course, bearing extremes. Learning from animals, short lifespan of something such as a fruit fly and an ant, comparing that to a whale or a tortoise that lives decades. I think all this is the perfect ideal setting for the best university. It is better than public school, that's for sure. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, I wanted to not focus on the labels of animals or trees, right? Because it's really easy to say that's a palm tree, that's a monarch, and that's it. I think there was a story once where there was an example of like a parent seeing a hummingbird coming in through the window and simply relating to the child. There was a child seeing this experience, right? For its first time experiencing a hummingbird. El colibri is a majestic creature. and the parent shows up and just says, "Oh, hummingbird, let me open the window and let it out." Trying to, maybe with no fault of their own to these parents, right? But belittling the animal or the special moment that that child is experiencing, a moment that could nurture that child to be, who knows, a veterinarian or biologist, or just go into whole different types of fields. As opposed to putting things in boxes, I think we should dive into that experience, into the feeling we get when we see and observe and study these animals, the relationship that they have with our ecosystem. I think all that goes beyond the words that I can articulate to y'all, that any book can try to print. This is just beyond special, and I think this directly correlates with my personal belief of this being a realm that was designed for us to be here. There's no accidents, I believe. There is no coincidences, in my opinion. No facts, no truth, just my opinions. Everything in this life has a purpose. Once we look past those labels, I think you start opening up your intuition. I think there's so many categories that we can't even begin to try to define on how you can tap into these things. You can tap into the vibrations, the appreciation, the moment, the feeling. I don't see how that's not our greatest teacher. But I just wanted to touch up on that. This is the first episode. We're going to give this a shot. I woke up today thinking, hey, why not start a YouTube channel? Ain't going to hurt. And I hopefully y'all tag along, check in a couple episodes, and come support, because we're going to do this. We're going to be committed, okay? So Julio Cesar is signing out for episode 1. Stay tuned. We're going to be tapping into all those topics and not wasting your time on any of it.